Wow, you have a dreidel on Gimel. What's your name?
I'm Sheepy the sheep.
Sheepy the sheep. That's a nice name. Hi, Rabbi Gimel.
Oh, hi there. Hi, Sheepy the sheep.
Hi.
Sheepy, what's the name of your pink friend?
Pinky the pink bird.
Oh, hi, Pinky the pink Boyd. I love that you put the Boyd to say Boyd. I love that Boyd because it's a Boyd. And I love when it's Boyds that I can say like Boyd.
I have a little dreidel. I
made it out of
play. And when it's dry and ready, a dreidel I will play.
Hey. Dreidel, I made you have to play.
And when you're dry and ready, my dreidel I shall play.
Yay! Beautiful.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
Everybody, happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
Okay, how about we sing a special song called Utzuetza? Okay, just I'm gonna mute everybody so that there is no, and then I'll open it again. Here we go. Now listen to this, Sheepy the sheep and Boydie the Boyd, pink Boyd.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Yay. Hey, kids, what time is it?
Time for Gezintahait.
It is time for Gezintahaitstreet.
Yay! Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah, everybody.
Bitzalel, should we start with the menorah lighting?
Say again?
Should we start by lighting the menorah?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yay!
I see we have matches or a fire epis.
Do we have a oil in there?
Labe, do we have a lighter with which things are lit in?
Gimel Elef. There is a small sandwich bag with a shamash deal in it and a floating wick.
Yay!
Needed some oil to set up the menorah.
Well, I know there's a wick in there, so it's probably okay.
Let me just explain something to you.
All right, as long as you know what you're doing, I'm happy.
Oh, so Hershey set it up. Don't worry. Hershey set it up.
Oh, Uncle Hershey did it? Okay, fine. Then we know we're okay.
He says it's full service.
Okay, everybody is watching knows this is the first night of Hanukkah. And tonight we're going to light the first candle right here on the Gezintahait show. And the reason we're lighting the candle in public is to publicize the miracle that happened.
Yeah.
A small little bit of oil lit and shined for 8 days. Yay.
You gotta be quiet and say the bracha.
Yeah.
Make sure to drip some wax.
And make sure
before you
that
stick it
all
in.
the wax
That way
right
it'll
now.
stick. Otherwise
And,
it's gonna-
and a little bit on your shoe and a little bit on my sleeve, because that's the
Thank
tradition.
Here, wait a minute.
Wait, what? You can't drip wax on my arm? Why not? You did it last
Wax
time.
for like 5-10 seconds.
Hello.
Try to keep that straight.
The big white candle is the shamash, the one in the glass cup.
Oh, here, use it here. You want the big white?
Big white one.
The shamash is the one in the glass cup, the big white candle.
Okay.
Yeah, drip
Okay,
wax
Herb?
on it.
Bezalel, I have a question.
Yeah.
How many Jews does it take to light the menorah?
14 or 15.
Apparently more than 2.
Yeah. Well, first they have to figure out how do you spell menorah.
Right. Then they have to call the rabbi and they have to say, when we do it from the right to left and the left to right, is that facing me or facing the place I'm lighting for?
After all, it's a big difference.
Yeah. That's what we call leaping on the hilchasa.
All right, quiet.
Okay, everybody, here we go.
Quiet on the set.
We're ready.
Okay, Hirsch, is the oil on the glass thing or is it in the silver?
It's good. It's good.
It's in the
Wait,
thing.
is it in the glass? I don't want it burning the silver.
Burn, baby.
Well, no, it's okay. It's set up everything good.
No, you want to burn like.
Okay, because I put a glass cup for it.
Yeah,
Hold
all
it.
three.
First the
yes,
brothers,
they
all
all
three.
three the first
But
time.
Make sure
You hear what I'm saying? I don't want to melt the silver.
I already said
The
the
entire
safety on
Jewish
it.
community.
So I
Where
don't say it
you
again,
were
right?
before this?
Where?
No, it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah,
You're
you
doing
let
it
it
for
know.
public lighting. You're good.
Okay, you're
So I
doing
said
it
the
all
full
wrong.
safety on it.
Yes,
It
for
says you
chinuch.
don't want it.
Yeah, for chinuch we say all of it.
Hirsch, Hirsch.
Okay, here we go.
Have you figured out the Kavanah yet?
Don't
All right, let's go.
The kavana is light the thing without burning yourself.
Do I say
Wait,
God's
he
name
says
or
the
not?
bracha, God's name, right?
Yeah.
But with Hashem Elokeinu.
No. The Tzalo says say Hashem Elokeinu.
No? Am I wrong?
Fine.
No, you break the equipment if you say.
Well, what do they do by the public lightings?
I don't know, but you're not allowed to make a bracha if you're not doing it at home, no?
And no one can afford
I know.
to
I'm not allowed to fall asleep in tefillin either, but we'll talk about that later.
Hey,
so-
Anyway, do Hashem Elokeinu.
No, nobody's going to know the difference, so we might as well not take a chance.
Atah Hashem
Okay.
Elokeinu.
Baruch atah Hashem.
You make the bracha, he's make the bracha.
Melech haolam, Asher kirishanu b'mitzvosav, v'tzivanu l'adikner, Hashem chanucha.
Good. Two more.
Hashem, Elokeinu melech haolam, Asher nisim b'aroseinu, v'yamim
Hashem. One more.
The first night of Hanukkah is officially begun.
On Gezintahait.
Yeah, until there's a nice amount.
Ay, Meister Yeshua, si Nikan beis tefilosi, Ozeg meir shir mizbeach, Chanukah sam mizbeach. Ozeg meir shir mizbeach. Wait, you gotta light it again. Chanukah sam mizbeach.
Yay! Okay. Okay. Are we ready for a story now? What's he doing over there? It's only one candle, after all.
Yeah, but this is Jews, B'Tzalel.
Okay.
Yay!
Yay!
All right.
Yay!
Yay.
You gotta pull the wick up in the middle.
Maybe they forgot to put the oil in.
No, he's using Jews.
All right, there you go.
Unless we get the oil to get.
Are you sure the oil is in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Suck up through this thing.
Pull the wick up a little bit. Just an idea.
Yeah, but how do you
I told you, how many how many Jews it takes to light a menorah? Hopefully more and more and more.
More and more.
Yeah.
The big menorah of Moshiach.
Until the whole world will light the menorah. And because the menorah represents simply Hashem, Hu Elokim, that Hashem is one and His name is one.
Lighting up the dark.
Yeah, baby.
Okay, so I'm going to start the story in the meantime.
Okay.
Okay. The first part of the story is called the Latka Party. The previous Rebbe said that the Tzemach Tzedek and all the Rebbes made a special party which featured latkes on one of the nights of Hanukkah. At that party, the Rebbe himself sat with his family telling stories and words of Torah. Our Rebbe says the lesson is that we have to give ourselves over to our families for their Jewish education in general and on Hanukkah in particular. Because the fact that the miracle was also performed for them, not just for us, also for the kids. The word Hanukkah in Hebrew is the same root as the word chinuch, which means to teach the children. Jewish education. And we have to do it not in a secondary, in an offhand way. It has to be a primary concern of our life, how to teach the children. But with involved concentration and serious preparation. Just like all teaching demands preparation by the teacher. And the Rebbe emphasized it should be done in a pleasant and a happy way, so that it will be received and internalized by the listeners. Now, the second story is a story called The Ice Candles. It's a famous story in the Baal Shem Tov, and it's a story that the previous Rebbe told. And he told it in the name of the Tzemach Tzedek. The way that we have it is from the Tzemach Tzedek. The Baal Shem Tov loved light. One winter night, his students did not have enough candles to light up the shul. The Baal Shem Tov told them to take ice candles from the roof and light them, meaning break off the icicles from the roof and light them up. And the students did what the Baal Shem Tov instructed, and those icicles ignited and became candles and shined. Reviewing the story, the Tzemach Tzedek said that the students and Hasidim of the Baal Shem Tov were able to light candles of ice, and those candles actually glowed and burned. Our Rebbe points out that there's a lesson from the Baal Shem Tov in the fact that ice could brightly shine, not by becoming an actual candle, but by remaining frozen water, and not by being warm like a candle, but by remaining extremely cold. Even though it was in its naturally frozen state, it nurtured a shining flame. This story teaches us, our Rebbe says, a lesson in serving Hashem on a very high level. The body is naturally cold to godliness, but it can be elevated to holiness, not only to the point where the light of the soul can shine through the body, but where the body itself can shine with light. Those of us poor and das are wondering, could it be that the level described here is even higher than the candles of Hanukkah? Even though those candles of Hanukkah changed the dark to light, it was accomplished by adding more light, 8 lights instead of 7. Well, in the case of the icicle candles of the Baal Shem Tov, the cold darkness itself shines. Could it be that this level will be revealed in the times of Moshiach, when the body will nurture the soul? It's something to think about. I was very turned on by the way you guys did the Utsu Eitsu, and I'm wondering if you have a niggin for us.
Yay!
Yeah.
Yay!
Hooray!
Hooray!
Yay!
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 Happy Hanukkah, sheepy sheep.
Happy Hanukkah!
Sheepy the sheep.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah, Shepsula!
Happy Hanukkah, sheepy. Where is your dreidel?
Oh, I'll get my dreidel.
Oh, show everybody your dreidel. It's a gimel, hooray!
Yay!
Dreidel.
That dreidel belongs to my friend Sheepy the sheep. Hey, look, we have a menorah.
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop.
Want to see any of my gelt?
Yeah,
Where's you have gelt?
yeah,
Yeah.
Whoop.
Oops.
Yeah?
She has Hanukkah gelt to show everybody. Show them your Hanukkah.
Where is that?
There it is. Hooray!
Yeah.
Show them.
Hanukkah gelt.
Yay! Look at that. There's chocolate inside.
Yeah.
I know he's playing Sharice.
Yay!
Yay.
That was a nice song.
Shepsula, who gave you that money?
Well, it's actually chocolate.
Oh, it's money and it's good food
Yeah.
at the same time. That's pretty cool.
Wow.
It looks like money, but it's chocolate.
Hooray!
Looks like little golden coins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kosher chocolate for Hanukkah.
Okay. Are we
No.
having a nigger now, or what are we doing now? Are we going to talk now, or we're going to have a nigger?
Yes, go. Here we go. Okay,
Yeah.
Yay!
I'm muting everybody just because the noise makes the sound drop out. But
Go ahead.
I love the song about the cat, by the way, Puppet.
Oh, I know the cat song is great. Kitty, kitty, meow, meow. I know that's my favorite song. Okay, here we go. Because now we lit the menorah. The next thing comes the beautiful song Haneira Salolu. These candles light to thank Hashem for His miracles and His wonders that He did with our fathers and He's doing with us right now. Because now Moshiach is coming and He's doing those miracles with us right now. Hey Koydeshim, Koydeshim. V'yein lo noreshos, V'ishtamesh bohein, V'ishtamesh bohein, V'ishtamesh bohein. Oh, sing nasi me Hanukkah, it's Halloween. Oh, sing nasi me Hanukkah, it's Halloween. They ain't a lot no reshos, they ain't stop me. Hello, the little son, Kedai lehei salalim, lehei salalim, l'shemcha hagodei. Lehei salalim, lehei salalim, l'shemcha hagodei. Hey, al nisach, al niflisach, al yeshua yisach. Al nisach, al niflisach. Yah Yeshua Yisrael, Al Nisach, Al Niflisach, Yah Yeshua Yisrael, Al Nisach, Al Niflisach, Yah Yeshua Yisrael, Al Nisach, Al Niflisach, Yah Yeshua Yisrael, Al Nisach. I'll be myself, we are, joy,
Yay!
Mendel, are you able to call me on the phone?
It was that bad, huh?
No, the song was great, but if you don't mind, give me a call. In the meantime, I'm going to start the Hasidus now.
What?
You know, when we had the temple in Yerushalayim,
Don't worry, this is Gona people problems.
when we had the temple in Jerusalem, we used to light a menorah that had 7 lights. And now we light a menorah that has 8 lights. And the menorah in the temple was placed on the right-hand side. The Hanukkah menorah we lighted home is on the left-hand side across from the mezuzah. On the outside. We light the Hanukkah menorah now to shine to the outside. And the menorah in the Beis HaMikdash, we lit inside. The time of lighting in the Beis HaMikdash was during the daytime. The Hanukkah menorah we light at night. We light it outside in the public place to spread awareness of the miracle. And the reason for all these 2 differences between how we did it in the Holy Temple and how we do it now is because Hanukkah is about lighting up the dark. That's why we light it at night. The Greeks and their culture darkened up the world. How? Through darkening the Torah, and then particularly by making the oil in the temple impure. Does everybody know the story? That the Jews won the war by a miracle, and they got back to the temple in Jerusalem. When they went in there, all of the oil was made impure. the seal of the Kohen Gadol was broken. So extra light was needed to re-illuminate the world. And the world needed a light higher than the regular chain of descent of the world. We needed 8 lights, not 7. The regular chain of descent is like the week. The 7th day is Shabbos. It's a big deal. It's higher than everything. There's a godly revelation. But on Hanukkah, we need this extra thing, which is higher than 7, which is 8. We need 8 lights. And we need to light at night, not in the daytime. And in a public place, not in an inside private place. And that higher light of the 8th candle was drawn down through the Mesiras Nefesh, from the giving away of the soul of Matisyahu and his sons, and the partisans who helped them in the world. The Gemara asks a question. Mendel, you can call me when you get a chance. The Gemara asks a question. My Hanukkah, what's Hanukkah? The Greeks wanted to force the Jews to leave the water of the true Torah and mitzvahs, like the fox is standing on the bank of the river and telling the fish, jump out of the water. Come out here on the nice dry land. A Jew can't live without that water. If he goes out of it, he'll die. Hello? Yeah. So I just, there's a sneeze thing with Morty. So if it comes to the dancing, just mute the camera, okay? What? Sound what? No, not the sound, the video. Now it's okay, but when it comes to dancing there, just cut off the video from that box. From Morty. I'm just telling you it's a fact. What I'm saying is correct. Okay, good. Very good. Okay. The Greeks wanted to force the Jews to leave the water of true Torah and mitzvahs, which is called the Torah of Hashem. They came into the Holy Temple, into the Beis HaMikdash, and they made all the oil impure. When the Jews won the war and they recaptured that holy place, they searched the whole place and they were able to find one small jar of oil that had not been made impure. It was still sealed with the seal of the high priest. But there was only enough to burn for one day. Hashem made a miracle, and that little bit of oil burned for 8 days. And the next year, they instituted that forever there would be a Jewish custom to light a menorah for 8 days, for thanks to Hashem for allowing us to win over this bad enemy. And that candle was for praise and glorification of Hashem for the great miracle that he did. And that thing of those 8 lights of the Hanukkah menorah in the days when we had the temple in Jerusalem, in the Beis HaMikdash, we lit a 7-branch menorah every day, and we never missed. But we know the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed. That menorah stopped. But guess what? Our 8-branch menorah, having been instituted as an everlasting law for the Jews, is still shining to this day. We have it here on the table. No matter how much they came against us and how much they tried to darken the light and take the Torah from us and take God from us, that light, those 8 lights are still shining. And that's the miracle that we see today, still to this day, of the menorah, that it's still shining now. So even though we can't light the 7 in the Holy Temple, because we can't go in and light that menorah, because we're spiritually impure, we're impure from the impurity of death. But since it's an eternal service, we earned and were given an even more powerful menorah than we had then. Then it was only 7 branches. Now we have 8 candles to light up the night, not the daytime, to light up the night, the dark night of exile. And it shines in every place where there's a Jew who lights his menorah. And even in exile, this mitzvah stands. You can see on Gezintahait, there's a lit menorah until even when Moshiach comes. And all the mitzvahs will be nullified. We'll still do the mitzvahs. We'll do them perfectly. But their effect will be like a candle in the daytime. They won't be noticed because of the revelation of godliness. But we'll still have the 8 Hanukkah lights. And those 8 lights will shine brightly, even in the face of the overwhelming revelation of godliness in the future time. And that mitzvah of lighting the menorah on Hanukkah is a general mitzvah of all mitzvahs. It represents our victory in retaining Hashem's Torah and mitzvahs in the face of an overwhelming force and culture that demanded, write it on the horn of an ox, that you have no portion in Hashem. A horn indicates essence. They wanted us to ascribe in our essence that we have no portion in Hashem. And we rebelled against that. And the Hanukkah story contains many details of miraculous victory. We won the physical war. We won the spiritual war. And we found that small jar of pure oil with the seal of the Kohen Gadol. And that small jar of oil is not just a physical manifestation of a miraculous thing. It symbolizes the essential oil of the Jewish soul that can never be lost and can never be impurified. And that answers the very astute question. Gimel Aleph, you know what the question is? It's a very astute question. Why do we light 8 days when the miraculous light was only for 7 days? The first day wasn't a miracle. There was enough light for the first day. So why do we light for 8 days? But finding the small jar of pure oil was a miracle in itself. We found the inner dimension of our soul. The Greeks somehow overlooked it. The outside culture overlooked the fact that the Jewish soul is an essential little jar of oil that can never be lost. Those Greeks were very methodical. They were fanatic about making every vestige of oil in the base of Mikdash impure. Therefore, it's an 8-day miracle, because the first day is the fact that we found that jar of oil. And we live with that now. There's a culture now that wants to darken up our Judaism and the fact that we're Jewish. And all we have to do is search, and we'll find that inner dimension, that inner Jew that we all have, that little jar of oil, which will cause a miracle. So we can learn from the 8 light of the general mitzvah an essential thing about all the mitzvahs. But first, by the way, again, I mention it all the time. This is not for, I didn't make this stuff up. I'm getting this from the Rebbe's. First, we need to know what is a candle and what is light. There's nothing new here when you light a candle. It just allows what is hidden to be revealed. You bring a candle into a house, nothing changed in the house. It just revealed what's in there. What's dangerous is revealed, and what's benign is revealed. What's beautiful is now revealed, and you know how to pursue it. And how is a candle connected to the Greek war? It's a war against the Greeks. What's it have to do with a candle? Besides regular physical light, there is a light of an intellect, a light of seichel, the light of wisdom, what the world calls a Yiddish cup, a Jewish head. It says a fool walks in darkness, but a wise one walks in light. And since he walks in light, he can see. He can see what's benign and what's dangerous. Like it says in the Psalms of King David, do good, go away from bad. And when he does good and goes away from bad, he'll reach the level of search and seek for perfection. Search and seek for shalom. To make peace between opposites. To take the opposite of good and turn it into good. Until the point where the original sins, the old sins, now become like mitzvahs. The Greek culture held intellectual endeavor to be very valuable. Philosophy, mathematics, astronomy, etc. So why would the two cultures have a war? The Jewish culture also says intellect is valuable. Wisdom is light that you can see with. And the Greek culture held that intellect is very valuable. So why should they be in a war? Because to the Greeks, intellect was only for self-satisfaction, of inherent beauty, or used to fulfill bodily desires. What they call nowadays humanities. While Torah is a godly intellect, which is really higher than human intellect. It is that intellect in Torah is used as a tool to fulfill the desires of Hashem, of the Creator. The Greeks respected the wisdom in the Torah. They had no problem with Jews partaking of that wisdom. But what they couldn't countenance was when the Jewish practice did not make sense according to human intellect. But it was only done because the Torah instructed us that that is the will of the king. For example, Shabbos, circumcision. They couldn't stand that. Why? Because it's the will of the king. It had nothing to do with human intellect. So their wisdom never affected their conduct. But Torah means a teaching how to conduct yourself. And the light of the Torah shows what's true and good and what's bad and demands action accordingly. Jewish conduct is correct not because intellect dictates this is the way to act, but because of that which is higher than intellect, Hashem's desire. And once that's realized, that we are doing this wisdom instructions because that's what Hashem wants, then we can learn the Torah, we can study the wisdom of how to accomplish fulfilling the godly desire. but they serve many gods. What are the many gods that they serve? Their own desires. Like when the previous Rebbe was threatened with a gun, the man told him, this little toy made others afraid enough to cooperate with us. The Rebbe told him, that's because you have one world and many gods, but I have one God and many worlds. Therefore, your little toy does not intimidate. Therefore, the two cultures had a war. And that was the real miracle of Hanukkah, that they found that one small jar of oil. They found their Jewish insides. And that jar of oil was pure. It had the seal of the Kohen Gadol. And from it was lit all 8 days, which is not a regular light, but one which reveals the one who is higher than nature and intellect, who wants us to use our powers to act in the ways that he desires, not our own desires. And even if you want to say, there are no miracles now, what kind of miracles? The whole thing is probably just a legend for children. But really, the miracle, the candles are burning now. This is the miracle. Even tonight, even now, we're still lighting the menorah after thousands of years of oppression. And the culture's trying to put out our culture, those forces of evil and darkness were trying to extinguish our connection to Hashem. And we'll keep lighting those candles until the return of those who have gone astray. And that causes a special light of nachas by Hashem. Like the two kinds of delicacies. A sweet cake or a sour pickle. Guys like us, we're a sour pickle. But that's a taste that Hashem loves. The righteous people, they're like a sweet cake. These candles, should we have a niggun now or keep going right now? Gimel Aleph, I can't hear you. I see you're talking, but I can't hear you. I think you're muted or something. Are you muted? Gimel Aleph. Yeah, I see he's muted. You want to open his mic? These candles are a teaching for us, not just how to act, but they give us strength to act. Mendel, Gimel Aleph is muted. Are you aware of that? Okay. Even in the dark at night, they're lit when the sun goes down, as opposed to the holy temple where they were revealed during the daytime. Hey, there he is.
We're all listening, but some of my boys here, they either bipe or, in the case of Hoishi, snore a little bit loud. So I keep it on mute until we have something to say, but we all right here listening.
Wait. Should I keep doing this or should we have a niggin? That's the question.
I mean, we can, if you want, we can do a niggin.
It's up to you. Are you happy to do a niggin? It's good.
Are you happy to do a niggin or what?
No, but I'm not happy, but I'll do it anyway, boss.
All right, do it.
Let's get off to a real slow start, boss. We don't get there.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, ya ya, la ya, ya ya, la ya, ya ya, la ya, la 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 la. Ya ya, la la, ya ya, la ya, ya ya, la ya, la la la. Ya ya, la ya, ya ya, la la. Ya ya, la ya, la 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 la. Ya ya, la la, hey, ya ya, la la, hey ya, la la, la la la, hey ya, la la la, hey ya 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 ya, hey ya, la la, hey ya ya, hey ya la la la, hey ya 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 ya. Hey ya la la, hey ya ya ya, aha, ha ha ha, hey ya 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 la la, hey ya ya la la, hey ya ya la la, hey ya ya, hey ya ya la la, hey ya, hey 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 hey. Hey, ya la 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 la, ya ya la la, la ya la la, hey ya ya ya, hey ya ya la la, hey ya ya la la la, hey ya 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 ya, hey ya la la, hey ya 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 la la, hey ya 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 ya. You go in a cycle back to the beginning. Hey, yeah, yeah, la la, yeah, yeah, la la, hey, yeah, yeah, la la, la 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 la, yeah, yeah, la la, yeah, yeah, la la, hey, yeah, yeah, la la, hey, la la la, yeah, yeah, la la. Ya ya la la, hey, ya ya la la, hey la 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 la, ya ya la la, ya ya la la, hey la ya la la la, hey ya ya la la la, ya 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 ya, hey ya la la ya la la, hey ya ya la la la. Hey, ya, ya, la, la, hey, ya, 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 ha, 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 hey, ya, 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 la, la, ya, ya, la, la, ay, ya, ya, la, 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 ya, ya, la, la, ha, ha, hey, 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 ya, 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 la, la, ya, ya, la, la. Ay, 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 la la, hey, ay, 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 la la, hey, la la, la la, ay, 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 la la la, hey, la ay, ay, la la la, ay, 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 la la, hoy,
All right. Hi, Mendel.
Wait, time out. You know you're
I
not
didn't.
right.
I didn't mean.
Wait, time out. What?
I didn't mean that you have to cut them off the whole time. Only when she starts dancing on the camera.
No, I didn't cut them off the whole time. The problem is you're not on mute and Modi got offended.
Modi got? Oh, Modi. Okay.
Because it wasn't muted, because when you said it, the phone call, they could hear you on the speaker.
Okay, what can I do? Okay,
Nothing, but it's all, but you're right. Anyways, you're right.
He hung up now or he's still on?
I have no idea. No, I think he's on because it says that there's non-video participants. I don't know who they are yet though.
Okay, all right, okay. I don't know. I did my best.
Listen, that's all we can do. But you're gonna have to unmute yourself because at this time I was smart enough to mute you.
Okay, good enough. Okay, see you later.
Yeah.
See you later.
Guys,
Unmute. Okay, fine. And how is it possible for us to light up a dark world? Because a Yid doesn't go with his own power. He goes with Hashem's power. And even if you have not shined light to the world, but through Hanukkah candles this year, there are more than a few days left. This is only the first night of 8. Find a public lighting where they're lighting Hanukkah candles. Get in touch with your local Chabad house. Get a menorah kit. Light the candles, spread the light, share the light. For yourself and the world. And that will give Hashem satisfaction. And just like the Hanukkah lights, mitzvahs in general, there are a few hours left until Moshiach comes. Do an extra mitzvah. Give a coin in tzedakah. Do an extra good thing. Say, I thank Hashem when you get up for your soul. With our generation, there's a unique circumstance that other generations didn't have. And it's connected to the Hanukkah lights. In our time, young people use the excuse, my teachers and leaders gave me nothing. They screwed me up and they turned me off to true Jew that I am. And even though it's true, that's not a reason for not choosing and acting in truth. You don't have to receive the truth from another. You can accomplish it from your own power because you have the Torah that Hashem gave us. And Torah means a teaching. And that teaching also gives strength to accomplish. Therefore, it doesn't matter that your teachers, your leaders, and your parents didn't educate you properly and turned you off from the true path of truth, whether about Jewish education or the generation gap in general. You have to know that you, with your own power, have the power to live in truth. Notwithstanding the environmental influences. You can't say, I don't do Torah and mitzvahs because my 3rd grade teacher took away my Mad magazine and told me I was no good and I would never succeed. You don't have to live with that. You can accomplish it from your own power. Furthermore, according to the Baal Shem Tov, in his realization of what divine providence is, that since in our generation we are given this test, there is a true lack in leadership and a true lack in our teachers. And that's the proof we have a greater power to prevail through this test. My teachers turned me off. My community turned me off. The hypocrisy of the previous generation turned me off. Nevertheless, I am endowed with a great strength to prevail and given great power to prevail. In the earlier generations, they didn't have this test. The teachers really believed in what they were teaching. They taught according to Musar and Hasidus. Not so in our generation. The test is very hard until the point that the famous Moshe Rabbeinu, was humble because we are able to stand up to the test. And since that test is so hard, we understand we are given strong powers, more than the previous generations had. Therefore, we can ask and demand of ourselves that even though the teachers and leaders of the generation and the parents in general did not show and teach us the true path of life, nevertheless, we have the strength and ability to live a life according to the true path of life, the path of Torah and mitzvahs. But to succeed, it takes effort and work. And that effort and work has its own reward, because true life will be earned and engraved and constant. A person would much more have one portion of his own than 10 portions of somebody else's. Don't worry you're on your own to accomplish true life. The Torah itself says there will be a generation who won't listen to parents and grandparents. That's us. Why does the Torah need to tell us this? It's not to make our heart heavy, that it's terrible, we're not going to listen to our elders. But when that prophecy of the Torah comes to pass, like now, don't be downcast. The Torah itself is letting us know it's part of the universal progression and divine providence to allow us to reveal our true strength by revealing the high soul level of Yechidah, that little jar of oil. When the olives are crushed, the oil comes out. The small, pure jar of oil with the seal of the high priest. And if we put in the effort to do just one mitzvah, it will give us strength and illuminate our service with enthusiasm to light the next candle and do one more mitzvah, growing and progressing like the Hanukkah candles. And through the service of adding light, we'll reach the level of purifying the holy place, like when they got the temple back. And we'll light many candles in Hashem's courtyard. And it will be seen that Hashem dwells within Israel. Do we have a song, boys? A happy song? A victorious song?
Oh, victorious song. Wait, time out. Where's Labe? Don't say it too loud.
Why? It's not something he's
Labe is contemplating on the greatness of the Abster out on the patio.
Oh,
Did that sound better than smoking?
hey, I have a song.
Oh, good.
This is a song about the war between when the Jews were the partisans fighting against the Greeks. You ready?
Yeah.
Yehuda and the boys said that ain't right. They moved out in the mountains and they started a fight. They fought them in the morning. They fought them at night. The Greeks said, boy, them Jew boys sure know how to fight. They said, go, Yehuda, go. Yehuda and the Maccabees. I was hoping Labe would be there with his guitar, but he left us high and dry here by ourselves.
I know, he has a great sense of timing. But Bezalel, maybe this is a good time to make my appeal.
Appeal. Here he goes. Gimel Aleph with an appeal.
Now is Hanukkah.
Now it's Hanukkah.
And Hanukkah is the time that we light the lights. Meaning we're not just lighting the lights. When he was lighting the lights, he wasn't just lighting regular lights. He was lighting Hashem's lights, the lights of Geula, the lights of redemption. So I want to tell you a little word that the Alter Rebbe said about this week. He says, by the way, Chevre, hello, Chevre, can I just give you a, Aishi, can I give you a disclaimer? We're unmuted, just letting you know. So the Alter Rebbe says, I don't know. The Alter Rebbe says that he brings Shira Mailis Beshuv Hashem, right? The Shiva Sirin, a song of ascents. When Hashem will bring back the how do you say Shivas? The people who was taken prisoners.
The Jews back to Israel and the temple in Jerusalem.
He says, will be as if we were dreamers. And the Alter Rebbe explained, what does it mean that we will be as we were dreamers? Meaning before we was dreamers and now we're not. And he explains, what does mean a dream? A dream means that when you're dreaming, you're sleeping, and the intellect, the Chabad, right? And the truth is even really the Chagas to some degree, most degree at that point. All the midos, all of the spheros, all of the attributes of intellect and emotions go back up. Okay? And we're like a fetus. What's a fetus? A fetus is like this. Let me show you.
No fetus could be
a fetus is a shloft azay. He sleeps with his head between his feet. In other words, the tree is folded in three. That the tree top, the tree of intellect is folded in the legs and the Eis Kodesh. And meaning the intellect has gone up. And a fetus, how does he get his power then? He can only get because straight from the essence of his neshama, of his soul. So the Alter Rebbe says we're sleeping. And in Golus we can have two things. In our dream you could have two things that don't go together. Like in his time it was a boat flying in the air. It's funny because nowadays we have boats flying in the air all the time. But by the way, B'tzalel, that's because we're coming close to the times of Moshiach.
But he means the kind of boat with sails.
Yeah, so a boat like a sailboat going and flying in the air, or any other.
We have that also. There's this spacecraft with those wings that catch the sun particles.
Now, so he says this is a dream that two things can go together that don't belong.
Opposite. Yeah.
Right, and he says this is Golus. This is the time of exile, and he says in the time of exile and other voids, when we praying to Hashem, we're thinking about Hashem, and then we go to do our daily void, and we're thinking about sustaining our body. And he says that you have to be very careful because it could be in this time that you will get downhearted, that you will become despondent, you will become depressed and saying, wait a second. So if that's the case, so my davening to Hashem is just a lie. In other words, when I feel close to Hashem and I'm davening and I'm only thinking about Hashem, it's just one big lie. But and because really you see like that I go back to do the things in my body. And he says, no, don't worry, that's not the case because now Moshiach is coming. And when Moshiach is coming, what we're going to realize is that the dream, even though down here it seems so low, is really a high thing because it's the lights of the Igulim, it's the cycle light, it's the light that's higher even than Seichel. So we think, oh no, the intellect is
higher
left.
than intellect?
Yeah. So we say, oh no, we're dreaming the intellect is left, right? But no. Here, the Alter Rebbe explains that it's that the source of this thing is in the light that's higher than intellect, where it's not that these two things go together because I'm in a dream, but they go together because Hashem is higher than anything contradicting anything else.
He's higher than both.
Yeah, and he says, don't worry because this time is coming now. It's the time of Mashiach is coming right now, and the Rebbe told us that even all of the birurim, all of the refining of the world is done, and now all we're doing is we're receiving the revelation of Mashiach Tzidkenu right here, and we're all going to go to Yerushalayim and build the third base of Mikdash. And he says, and then Hayinu Kechelmim will be as if we were dreamers. Meaning that we will realize that our dream, that we see these two things together, it's not because it's so low, it's because it's so high. Because we will realize that now is coming down, even, by the way, in the Beis HaMikdash was a very, the Shechina came down, but this means the light of the intellect came down. And even though now it seems like we're below the intellect, but Mashiach coming now, we're going to be above the intellect, and all the things will go together. We'll realize that Hashem and physicality is not two things, they're one thing, and our job was to bring Hashem into the physicality.
And at that time, our mouth will be filled with laughter.
Yeah, and at that time, not only that, but it says Hashem Echad U'Shmai Echad. What does it mean Hashem Echad U'Shmai Echad? Now it's written Yud K Vav K, but we don't pronounce it that way. We pronounce it with the same adnus. We pronounce it different because it needs to be hidden. But now Hashem is revealing Himself, and soon will be a time when we will pronounce the same way, like it's written. We will read it because Moshiach is coming now. So I want to ask all of our friends, do one more mitzvah. Right now is Hanukkah. Light a Hanukkah candle. Light a Hanukkah candle. If you don't know how, go to Chabad.org.
It's easy and it's fun.
Oh, it's very fun. Go to CHABAD.org, Chabad.org. Look up your local shliach, and he will help you get a Hanukkah menorah, and he will help you get candles and teach you how to light them. But the main thing is light a candle for Hashem today, period.
All right. You guys want to noodle something up, or we'll just do we'll go out with the Gezintahait too. Huh?
Tell him we got a niggin to do. I told him not to get the king size cigarettes,
All right, hit it.
1 second, we get it. Come on, people.
Hirsch went and got Lave. How do you like that?
That's
pretty cool.
Here we go. What are we doing?
Holy, oh my gosh. Oh boy.
What are we doing?
We're going to do...
Lave, light me up.
After the show, Bitzalo, after the show.
Looks like he's all out.
You want to do a Tati or King?
Got a low battery. Low battery.
Press OK.
How about the Carlbach song? Or
But now you got to turn it this way. A little higher. Beautiful. Perfect. What are we doing?
Do you want to do the Tati or do you want to do the Carlbach song?
No, it's a Tati our King. Or the trilogy. You know what? Let's do the trilogy, but with the full Tati our King in between it. How's that? Give me the... Fiddle, play something. Hashem Elokeinu, Oh, Tati, our King, don't you do a good thing? And please return with your people, and the angels all sing, glorious King. Won't you please return with your people? They made you a crown. Why don't you come back down? And please return with your people. Oh, Tatiaki, you know it don't mean a thing unless you please return with your people. Oh, Tatiaki, you know it don't mean a thing unless you please return with your people. And the angels all sing, oh glorious King, why don't you please return with your people? They made you a crown. Why don't you come back down? And please return with your people. Oh, Tatiaki, you know it don't mean a thing. Miss you please return with your people.
It's the boogie, Ray.
Maybe some big dosh, make up in your name, no, say the same. Maybe some big dosh, make up in your name, no, say hey, maybe some big dosh, make up in your name, no, say the same. Shave up never something you know, she make up in your name, no. Say okay, never say the same. Shave never something you know, she make up in your name, no. Say okay, never say the same. Shave never something you know, she make up in your name, no. Say thank you, everyone. Never something to touch, make up in your name, say okay, never say yourself. Never something to touch, make up in your name. Never something to touch, make up in your name. Say okay, no, say yourself. Say but never something to touch, make up in your name. Say okay. Say, there be something you don't hang up in your name, no, they can't say the same. Say, there be something you don't hang up in your name. Say, there be
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna have our sign off, nigga. Now, everybody ready? Gezintahait, 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 my friend. Remember, kids, gezintahait.
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 Yeah, man. It's a wrap, boys.